10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, and welcome to EM Publishing's monthly live stream. It is May 2023, in case you have time traveled here. I'm Jessica, the business manager of EM Publishing, and I am joined, as usually, by...
Well, I am not Jessica, the business manager of EM Publishing.
Correct.
I am, in fact, Russ, who is... What is my actual job title?
CEO.
Is it CEO? Okay. Of EM Publishing. Okay.
Yeah.
Go with that.
It's good that you know your job title. It's good.
Yeah.
Welcome. So over the next hour, we're just going to be chatting all things EM Publishing, as we are live on His Majesty's internet. You feel free to join in and ask any questions. If you have any questions in the chat, we can put them on screen and answer them. If they could be relevant to role-playing games and EM Publishing, that would be wonderful. But yeah, that's what we're going to be chatting about for the next hour. So thank you for joining us. So should I just jump right in?
I think that's an excellent idea.
I will. Okay. Well, the first thing I'm going to be talking about is To Save a Kingdom, which is the Kickstarter crowdfunding has ended for this. So this is the Level Up Advanced 5th edition adventure path that follows on from Memories of Holdenshire. And it's gone pretty well. People wanted to have it, which is always good. So like I say, the Kickstarter has ended now, but we are opening up Back a Kit, and Back a Kit for surveys, if you've pledged, will open up on the 30th of May. And if you missed out and you forgot to back on Kickstarter because your life is chaotic and stressful like mine, you can pick it up in the pledge manager there, so you can join in on Back a Kit if you missed out the live crowdfunding. So that'll be the 30th of May. That'll be going live on Back a Kit. And if you check out the Kickstarter page for the updates, we'll have the links on Back a Kit for it there, so you can check that out on there. But the overall plan is to get you your books in September, and we're going on track for that. I think at the moment we're chatting to the printers, getting all ready to finalize the orders once you tell us where you live and what you want. But yeah, I don't really have much more to say about Save the Kingdom.
Hopefully people are enjoying the lovely shiny PDFs in the meantime.
Yes, everyone should have their PDF. If you backed on Kickstarter, it is in your Kickstarter messages box. And a lot of people don't know where to find that. So
some of them reply to the message with the link in it saying, I haven't received my link. So I would say, just scroll up a couple of inches. You're replying to it. It's right there.
That happens a lot. So if you have done that, if you've done that and you're embarrassed, you are not the only person that has done that. But yeah, you have the PDF now if you back for it. And if you didn't back for it, we'll get you the PDF on 19th of June when the survey ends on Back a Kit. So it's going to open on the 30th of May, and you'll have till the 19th of June to choose any add-ons or upgrade your pledge, because we do have the shiny collector's edition books available there. And we've got about, I think, 90 copies of the original core books, like the Adventurer's Guide, Trials and Treasures, Monstrous Menagerie, and they're the only ones in the world
of the special edition
collector's edition. Yeah, the collector's edition. So if people want those, the Kickstarter is the only place to get them.
Yeah, because we're not making any more of those.
No, each new book we'll probably do a collector's edition, just so if you've got on that train, you can get more. But get on the train.
Yeah,
get on the train now if you want. But great metaphor. Anyway, I'm going to move on. Like I said before, if you have just joined us, hello, a bunch of people just jumped in. Talking about EM Publishing stuff. Have any questions, put it in the comment. We'll answer it.
Otherwise, we'll answer your questions. We'll try to answer your questions.
We'll try to. Otherwise, we'll just talk at you like we are now. But so we've done Save a Kingdom, crowdfunding ended. We're getting the Back Kit ready and send it to you. Our next Kickstarter campaign is rather epic, Russ.
It is.
And it's threatening.
Epic threat is threatening.
So this is one of our 5e quick starters, and if you're used to these, you'll know how these work. But if you're not, I'll explain it now. So we run them for 2 weeks. It'll be opening next week. I'll put the link in the chat actually for people if you want to follow it, so you'll be notified when we launch. I'll put that in now. So this has a load of CR monsters, 11 to 20. And it's loads of monsters and NPCs to just pop into your game. 2 of them are really expanded, so it can be like kind of a whole encounter. But instead of me talking at you, I made a snazzy video. So let me show you the snazzy video telling you about this campaign. So that is all the
That
epic
was
threats.
snazzy. I
Thank
was
you.
watching that, and all I could think of is, how snazzy is that?
Yes, and the book is also very snazzy. And so we do a quick turnaround these. So these, unlike our larger level up books, which are made via offset printing, we do these kind of print on demand. So when the Kickstarter will run for 2 weeks, and then you get the PDF immediately, as you do with all EM Publishing products. And then because we do it print on demand via Drive-Thru RPG, you get the softcover book the following month. And we've done about 20. We've done 22 of these. Yeah. I'm going to say confidently. We've done 22 of these in the past. And so if you missed out on them, we do have a bundle where you can get all of them for a discounted price. And I think it's like...
bundle's getting so big now, though.
Yeah, it's like, do you want 23 books? And it's like, yes, I do. So you can jump in and do that, or you can individually, as add-ons, get any of the books that take your interest. And at the bottom of the Kickstarter page, we've listed all of them with a little summary and a link to their original Kickstarter page, so you can go in depth and see kind of what they are. And they're all stuff that was originally sourced from individual collections from Insider magazine. So of course you could always take a look at Insider Patreon and have a look there as well if you want to have a look at any of these things. But that is the next thing that we're doing that's going to launch next week. So I've put the link in the chat down there, covering Russ's face because you don't need to see him.
Probably best, to be fair.
So you can have a look down there and follow the link to have a look, and you'll be notified when we launch. Thank you very much. But moving on from 5e and going back to A5e, the Gate Pass Gazette issue launched, Russ. I haven't read my copy yet because it came out literally last week. I haven't. I've got it downloaded. I've got it literally in front of me. But have you read through yours yet?
I've read some of it. Yeah.
Tell me about it then. What's your favorite?
I like the Spells of Fatigue and Strife. Is my favorite bit.
Discuss.
I know quite a lot of people like the Crusaderians, which is a new heritage, and is pictured on the front there. And the Forest of Davek Dran is one of I was going to say Ben Kenobi then, Mark Kenobi's Mark Kenobi's. He does these things where there's a bunch of exploration challenges and some magic items and monsters and stuff which you can drop into your campaign. But I really like the Spells of Fatigue and Strife, which is Cassandra MacDonald, I think, did those. And what they do is, because Level Up has these new like Fatigue and Strife rules, we've got spells that actually leverage those, and you can actually cause and heal Fatigue and Strife on people now, which is rather cool.
That feels rather evil as well.
Yes, rather nasty.
I also like, because I did last year, I put together the Can We Keep It, the Pets 5e book, and this has Pets to Please Any Party too. So I'm loving the continuation of having a feathery friend in A5e as well. So I'm glad that theme's kind of coming in. So we have a question as well before we go on. But yeah, so Gate Pass Gazette issue 15 is out. If you are not sure what the Gate Pass Gazette is, it's our monthly magazine for Level Up Advanced 5th edition, and you can check that out and see how that works on the Patreon, which is patreon.com/gatepass, which I put in the chat. We have had a question about a big question about epic threats.
It's a long question.
It is. So the Monstrous Menagerie in A5e is having more interesting mechanics and threats in D&D. Thank you. I think so. Have the ones in the Epic Threats book expanded on that? So the Epic Threats Kickstarter that we're running next week is built for 5e.
Yes, and these were monsters that were published in the past, or they predate Level Up. So they are 5e monsters, but we tend to think our monsters, whether they be 5e or A5e, are interesting anyway.
Yes.
Even our 5e monsters are interesting. So
yes, and there's two expanded kind of the like I said, the Fallen God, and then the
and they've got like entire encounter elements and all sorts of stuff.
Exactly, so that is expanded in there. But if you follow the Kickstarter to be notified and launch, it'll go into more detail in there and have some previews, so you can take a look and see if it's for you. With the Monstrous Menagerie, I say we, not myself and Russ. Paul Hughes is working on the Monstrous Menagerie 2 for Level Up Advanced 5th edition.
Yes.
But as you can imagine, that is a big, epic undertaking, and so that won't be out until next year. But there is more A5e.
There's so much of that is written now as well.
It's coming along.
Yeah, it's coming along.
Paul messaged me the other day and asked if I was a writer and wanted to do anything, and I said no, I'm no way a game designer, but thank you for thinking of me. And they asked about the Monstrous Menagerie 2. Is that going to have high-level epic creatures in that as well?
I expect so. I don't know the full contents of it yet, and it's not written yet, and that's all down to Paul to decide. I would be amazed if it didn't.
Yes. So, but I will let him know that there have been comments about that today, so that can be borne in mind. When is the print-on-demand version of the Gate Pass Gazette issue 14 going to release? Is that for people if you're on the Patreon or if you are not on the Patreon?
So what that is if you are on the Patreon, I'm assuming this is because this is 14, a very recent one, the people that are on there. So basically the way we do this, and there's unfortunately a random time element to it, we upload the print files to Drive-Thru-RPG. They have to approve those print files, which takes a random number of days. Then we have to order a print copy ourselves and wait for that to arrive here, and then tell Drive-Thru-RPG that it has arrived and we approve it, at which point the print-on-demand thing goes live. But each of those things is basically a random amount of time beyond our control. So basically we sit and wait for it to turn up. And once it does, I go, all right, okay, there it is. You can get it.
So we haven't had issue 14 sent to us for approvals yet?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So, but as soon as we have and do, that will be updated on the Patreon account. So we will let you know. But should be sometime soon. And then you'll get your link to get your
print-on-demand things, well, sometimes it's really quick. I mean, sometimes it's a week or 10 days, and sometimes it's a month. It's just hard to tell.
It's out of our control, but it's something we are looking on. And somebody has asked, do you have plans to publish different fantasy settings for A5E?
Well, we just published Elazar.
Yeah. Well, that's, we haven't even fulfilled that
2 weeks ago. I mean, how fast do you want these things?
So at the moment there's the Elazar setting, which has To Save a Kingdom in, which is obviously, so that adventure path takes you through from 0 up to 13, because you can do Memories of Holdenshire before doing Save a Kingdom. There's also the Zeitgeist kind of setting book we have.
And we've got the War of the Burning Sky setting, which is technically a 5e setting. And we haven't published any actual A5e specific stuff for it yet, but it is. But our settings are settings for all of our games. Like if we went and published another fantasy game that wasn't D&D, we'd probably still use those settings because that's our settings, that's our worlds. So we've got those 3 main ones. We might do another one, maybe. We don't know.
It's subject to
we got Planestrider's Journal coming. Our basic equivalent of Manual of the Planes. I guess the planes are a setting. Lots and lots and lots of planes in that.
Yes, that's true.
That's a setting.
There we go. And also, what was I going to say? We have a lot of third-party publishers that do things for level of advanced 5th edition, so they may have their own settings and world. And it's not up yet, but on Drive-Thru-RPG, Level Up Advanced 5th Edition is going to be its own rule system setting, so you can just click on that and you'll be able to see
its own category,
and all the third-party products. So if you have a look on there, it's not up yet as of speaking, but we got confirmation today that they're doing it, which is nice. So it'll be easier for you to search on Drive-Thru-RPG for third-party things for A5E, so you'll be able to see different worlds that other people made. And on that note, someone's asked, do you plan to do an A5E sci-fi setting?
Oh yeah, that's in development. So we've got the Void Runners Codex, which is coming out next year. It's been in development for quite a while, actually. And we announced it about a year ago, I think. So but that's coming out next year, and that is basically it's A5E sci-fi. It's not. I think Starfinder is a bit more orcs and goblins in space. Is it? I'm not 100% super familiar with Starfinder.
I think it's going to be different, but like. Yeah. You can always, like, for the Void Runners Codex doesn't have magic in it, for example.
Yeah,
I mean, of course, it's A5E, so you could genre mash and use.
Oh, yeah, it's utterly compatible. Yeah, it's the same exact same system. Yeah,
but the idea of the settings is that isn't in there. But there's loads of cool rules in that for like starship combat and stuff that we're just taking the time in development to get it right.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's answered some of your questions on that. Thank you for the questions. Keep them rolling in. I'm going to move us on to talk about more level up stuff. So a lot of people in the chat seem like they're on the level up A5E train. And So I forgot what I was going to say, Russ. That
I
was a
don't know
really
what you were
bad
gonna say,
segue.
Jess. I can't
No
help
one
you.
does. No one does.
No one does, not even you.
Let's try that again. Okay, everyone pretend that didn't happen. Okay. Also, for Level Up Advanced with Edition news, we are later this year going to be launching our new starter set. And this is going to be, we're going to call it an upgrade kit, I believe.
I think so. I'm not 100% sure on that. We might switch back to starter set, upgrade kit. I don't know, because I feel like upgrade kit, perhaps the chat can tell us, I feel like upgrade kit, if you call it a level up upgrade kit, people will think it levels up your upgrades, your level up game, and that you need level up, and then you need this kit to upgrade it to advanced. I think it might send the wrong message, so I might go back to starter set. I'm not sure.
It's still in development, as you can see.
It just feels like starter set seems like a bit of a...
Everyone knows what it is. But everyone knows what a starter set is.
Yeah, but it kind of assumes that you have... The idea of it is it assumes that you have the 5 ebooks. And you take this 20 quid... Yeah, you take this 20 quid box set, and that basically upgrades your 5 ebooks to level up.
Yeah, so the idea is that if you're like, oh, I don't really know what A5E is, what are the key differences? It's got like 3 adventures in it, and all of them kind of highlight the different rule sets and talk you through it as it appears. Similar in the way to Memories
this
of
this one's got 1 adventure in it.
Is it one of it? I just lied.
Yeah,
I am. I'm getting confused.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting confused. This has 1 adventure in it.
Yeah. Although the 1 adventure is divided into 3 parts. That's probably what you're thinking.
That's what I'm thinking of. It's got 3 parts to it.
Yeah.
And what else is in this starter set, Ross? Because I'm getting it confused with what's all this new now.
It's a rule book, but it's not like it's a core rule book. Basically, it's a rule book which says these are the things that change from 5e. So you've got your 5e books. This sort of 30-odd page softcover core rule book will tell you what to change, basically. And say, right, these are the new conditions. These are the new this. This is how this works. So that's what that is. There's the adventure. There's poster maps. There's tokens. What else is in there? Pre-generated characters. I think that's it. Is there more?
Yeah.
I think that's it. Yeah.
We've had some suggestions for titles. 5e, 5e expansion starter.
Yeah, maybe.
Starter set makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, that's hitting Kickstarter summer-ish, isn't it?
Yeah, summertime we're looking at that. It's currently in development. So that's kind of starter set. So the idea behind this is that if people haven't tried out Level Up and want to kind of give it a go in a low stakes kind of way, it's very much kind of a gateway drug to Level Up Advanced with Edition, if you will.
Yeah.
So maybe some gifts for friends if you're trying to get your party to kind of move to Level Up Advanced with Edition and be like, hey, here we go.
Yeah. I think if you can hand someone like a 32-page softcover thing and say, okay, you don't need these 3 big hardcover rule books to get you started. This 32-page softcover thing, that'll get you going. That would be ideal, I think.
Fantastic. So that's what we got going on with that. And I was getting confused talking about the What's Old is New starter set. So first of all, a lot of people here seem like they're familiar with Level Up in the chat, but could you tell?
What is new? Well, I don't know.
Discuss.
What's Old is New is a game that we published 5 years ago, 6 years ago. I can't remember. Longer. And this was 3 hardcover books, and all 3 were compatible, big hardcover books, and one was for fantasy games, one was for modern games, and one was for sci-fi games. So it's like Level Up, it's quite a big sort of buy-in to buy those big 3 hardcover books, and it's very, very different to D&D and Level Up. It's a D6 dice pool system. It's got like a life path character creation and things, so it's very, very different. But this starter set is going to be like, again, sort of like a 20 quid-ish kind of box set. Like the Level Up one, it's going to have like a 32-odd page rulebook adventures in it. One's a fantasy adventure, one is a modern featuring vampires and nuns, and one is a sci-fi adventure featuring robot constructs on a space station. So there's 3 adventures. There's going to be counters, there's going to be maps, there's going to be pre-generated characters, so everything.
There's some dice in there as well,
and some dice for those people that don't have any D6s.
Well, The fun thing about What's Old is New is you do get a fistful of D6 to like
Yeah.
chuck at the table, which
Yeah.
makes it fun.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I mean, if you're familiar with our Judge Dredd game that we published a few years ago, it's the same system. Judge Dredd used What's Old is New system. Tweaked it a bit, but it was the same system. So that is coming very soon to Kickstarter. That's not our next one, but the one after.
Yes.
And it's looking gorgeous.
And if you want to be notified when we launch any of these particular games, all of them or individual ones we're talking about, we have our mailing list page, which I'm just putting in the notes in the chat.
Yeah.
And you can sign up to get news about specific product lines. So if you're like, I'm just interested in Level Up, you can sign up for that one. If you're just interested in What's Old is New, you can sign up to that. Or there's one for just like everything. Yeah. And you can unsubscribe at any time. And because we live in the UK, we're subject to EU kind of contact laws. What are they called?
GDPR.
Yes, that. But yes, so if you want to have information about the launch dates and stuff for those things, that will be there. But yeah, I'm really excited for this. We've done like a little revamp.
So excited for this. I mean, I really love What's Old is New. Obviously, it's my baby, and I made it a few years ago, and I adore the system. I'm just really, really looking forward to this being a way that people can get hold of it without, in a much more accessible manner. Because I'm always conscious that I tend to write big hardcover books, and they possibly aren't as accessible as they could be. I mean, they're the sort of thing I love, but a nice, pretty box set with all the stuff you need in it. Brilliant.
Sounds pretty. We've had some questions about the What's Old is New, so I'll put them up on the screen. So, have there been What's Old is New adventures with a crossover setting, so old characters can be stranded in a new setting or something like that?
The games are very much designed for you to do that. They're very much mix and match. You can stick your wizard on a starship or whatever. We have one called Spires in the Sky, which has adventurers in a fantasy world come across a crashed spaceship, which was crashed there 1,000 years before, and then the spaceship comes alive and does stuff. So we've got that one, and then the whole village which the spaceship is on starts going up into the sky. It's pretty cool. So yes, is the answer to that. There have been What's Old is New adventures with crossovers and settings.
There we go.
And there may be more. There may be more.
Well, there's lots of settings for What's Old is New as well. If you go onto the What's Old is New website, which is what'soldisnewrpg.com or WoinRPG.com, you can see all the different books that are already existing. So it's very much a live existing system. But the starter set, we're giving it a revamp with the branding, and the starter set, just like Russ said, it makes it more accessible. It allows you to kind of dip your toes in and try it out before you commit to buying 3 full books. Do you have any plans to license any IPs for the 3 generic genres you have for What's Old is New?
By license, I mean, do we plan to get a license or license them to other people?
In terms of licensing, we had the Judge Dredd in the Worlds of 2000 AD license that used the What's Old is New system.
We have a whole bunch of settings as well. So we have the Soul Space setting.
And they were asking about getting a license for Judge Dredd. We don't have any license announcements at this time.
No, but we have a bunch of our own settings in there. I can't remember what they're all called now. We've got so many of them actually. So the Soul Space setting is kind of Star Trek-y, but it's not quite as utopian and nice as Star Trek. It's a bit more military than Star Trek. And we got the Xenomorph setting,
which is definitely not aliens.
I mean, these are all kind of loving tributes to certain genres which we have enjoyed in the past. So we've got Spirits of Manhattan, which is about chasing ghosts around New York. We've got one called Dark Decade, which is New York in the 1980s, where there's just like loads of undead and vampires everywhere. So if you go onto the What's Old is New website, there's a drop down which says worlds or settings. I can't remember what it says exactly, and they're all listed.
Yeah,
there's loads of them. We've got loads of them.
Yeah. So it's a well-supported system. There's a lot of content, if that's something you like. But that, if you like I say, check out the starter set, because that'll be the next thing that's coming out. Maybe try that, see if you get on with the system, and then there's a whole world for you out there as well.
Yeah.
But moving on, I'm going to segue us away from strictly role-playing games. Because, as you can see by my background, I like role-playing games, but I also like board games as well. What a natural and wonderful segue to talk about the first board game that EM Publishing will be publishing that, which will be Split the Hoard. So really,
I have not seen that artwork before.
Have you not? Do you know why?
No,
Because it
surprise for me.
arrived literally today. So this is not the final one. This is just, as you can see, it's in black and white, and it's a scamp rough drawing from the artist. But this is just something to give you a feel and an idea for that. But yeah, so Split the Hoard is the first kind of card game that we're doing, and we're kind of linking it into the Level Up world. So the idea behind it is it's a card game for 2 to 5 players. It's quite quick. It takes like 20 minutes to play, and the concept of it is you are all adventurers. You have just defeated the dragon, and there's a big pile of loot in front of you, and you are now at the stage where you have to find a way to agree about how you split the loot out. So how you negotiate, trick, or deceive your way to get the loot that you want. So you're splitting the hoard between you as adventurers. Yeah, so it's really fun. Like I say, it's a really quick game. And if you're interested in taking a look at this, we are actually bringing a prototype copy. It doesn't have the final artwork in. It's just, but a prototype copy to the UK Games Expo next month, where you can come and play it. And you can play it with the creator, Mark Kenobi, who writes for Level Up Advanced 5th Edition, as we mentioned in the Gate Pass Gazette. So you might be familiar with his writing. So he designed this board game as well. So yeah, so we're really excited. This is our first venture into this area. So it's going to be coming to Kickstarter in the winter of this year. But we're going to be starting getting kind of material and information out on it from now onwards. And yes, so we've had a question about it. Will you do a live play demo on stream before Kickstarter? Yes, that sounds like a really good idea. That's definitely something we should do. Like I say, at conventions, so the UK Games Expo, you'll be able to kind of play it there and have a look at it as well. And I'll see what we can do for online sort of play as well. And someone just asked, so D&D has book tie-in with board games. Do we have a tie-in plans for books? Do we have plans for tie-in games?
Such as the new Dragonlance. Does the tie-in games with Level Up? I'm sorry, I don't understand.
I don't understand the question. If you're asking if we are producing a fictional book, not at this time, but we are making a board game that is tied in to kind of, so this is going to be in the Level Up world. So the characters that you play will be kind of classes that you'll recognize from Level Up Advanced 5th Edition.
And our other thing that we're going to talk about in a minute is also a game which is tied into one of our What Sort of New settings. So
yes, and we'll talk about that. And then somebody was just saying that they probably have more board games than me. That's true. At one point, I did have 700 board games, but not anymore.
Had a shop.
I had a board game cafe.
Board game cafe,
yeah, but they were still board games that I had purchased. Anyway. You mentioned the What's Old is New game that you're working on. Now, this won't be coming out this year because this is still in development.
Yeah, this is 2024.
2024 was how it goes. Discuss Spaceflight.
So Spaceflight is. So I actually published a prototype a few years ago, and it never really went anywhere beyond that. And I've revisited it in the last sort of few months. And this game has changed a lot since that original prototype. So if anyone did see that prototype, it is very different to that now. So it is basically a game of starship combat skirmish game. I know there's a few starship combat skirmish games out there. So the kind of difference with this one is I'm very determined that it's going to be quite accessible and cheap. So it's not going to be based around sort of expensive licenses and miniatures, expensive miniatures and stuff. So it's going to have like cardboard hex counters, and it's going to come in a set. So I'm hoping for like a 20 quid price point or so. I don't know whether we can get it down to that because it is quite component heavy in terms of counters and maps and stuff. But
that'll be my job to try and do then.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the sort of space combat, it kind of emulates this kind of Star Trek, Star Warsy type stuff. More the bigger ships than the Starfighters, although we do have kind of like fighter squadrons in there.
Do you have to go pew pew when you fight and do it?
It's obligatory that you go pew pew. So we've been playtesting that to death recently, and each time we playtest it, it gets a little bit better, and it gets a little bit better. And we're going to keep playtesting it throughout the rest of this year. I absolutely love the game. It's brilliant, and every time I play it, it gets slightly better, and it's great. And what you can see there is like a ship card for one ship on a particular ship. So we've got about 50 odd ships. Each of them has like a ship card like that and a hexagonal cardboard counter. So basically, it's the kind of game that is going to be really, really easy to collect and upgrade and extend without having to like spend, 80 quid on a new 2 miniatures and a pamphlet sort of thing. It's going to be big. And also, I'm going to try, if I can, I know RPGs do it, I don't see why board games shouldn't do it, make it open so other people can extend on it. That would be fun.
Sort of a little license for people to make their own board game stuff for it. Nice. And someone's asking, could Space Fight be used in the combat rules in the Void Runners Codex?
It's not even vaguely similar to 5e. It's a very, very different system.
Fair enough. And another question about Void Runners Codex A5e. Will there be plasma swords? Yes. There you go. There will be.
And they're also in What Sword Is New too.
Amazing. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. So that will be and so there is the mailing list for Space Fight that you can sign up to if you'd like to know more, but like I said, this is in the playtesting area, so we won't have kind of more information on that until next year about when that will exist. We'll probably have it for next year's UK Games Expo, the prototype to play there, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a prototype now, but it's not super pretty.
Well, who needs a pretty prototype?
Who needs a
game? The game is the thing. Yeah. Anyway, so that is all the stuff that we kind of have up and planning. And as I mentioned before, we are going to be at the UK Games Expo in 2 weeks' time, which is held in the UK in Birmingham in the 2nd to the 4th of June, and we'll be there in Hall 1, stand 835, so you can come find us there. We have a lot of fun stuff we're doing this year. So we haven't just got a stand with books. So we are doing character creation stuff for 2 of our lines. So one is level up, so you can come along and you can make a level up character, and we'll have someone there to talk you through it, and then you can take that level up character home with you and look at it and see how different it is from a normal 5e. So basically we think that's a great way to just show people how things like heritage and cultures and all that just work and just fit together as modular elements. So we've got that. And then also Awfully Cheerful Engine, which is another game we've been publishing for a few years now, which is a very light, fast cinematic game of action comedy. And characters in that fit on a credit card. We're going to have character creation because you'll come along and you make a character in 90 seconds, 2 minutes or something. Yeah,
we're going to have that. Really people can come along, make a character and take that home with them as well. So
it's an idea to introduce people to the system so they can get a feel of it and come in depth and learn a little bit more about it. And of course, we will have the prototype of Split the Hoard for you to come and play the game. Because it takes about 20 minutes, so you can easily come play a game for a bit.
And we will have books for you to buy as well. Don't get me wrong.
And we do have
there will be books to buy too. Yeah.
We'll have the collector's editions that I talked about, because the only place we sell the collector's editions of our books is at conventions and during Kickstarters. So the shiny level up collector's items will be there, and also the Dungeon Delver's Guide book will be there. And this is the first convention it's ever been at, because we fulfilled a Kickstarter in March. So it's gone out to retail. So this is its first convention outing. I think. Yeah. So that's exciting. And also, if you would like to be in the same room as Russ and I, are you doing well, Russ? We are doing a lot. Russ is excited about this. We are doing a live recording of Morrus's Unofficial Tabletop RPG talk at the UK Games Expo. So on Friday at 3:30 in the Dice Room, we are recording the podcast live. And
somebody please come. Somebody.
Well, I got the links. I'm going to put the link in the show notes for coming to UK Games Expo. This is the first time we've done this, and they offered us. I spoke to UK Games Expo. I was like, hey, can we do this? And they're like, yeah, sure. Do you want this room with 300 seats? And I was like, no, absolutely not. I do not want that, because what if no one turns up? So the Dice Room is a smaller room. I think it's like got 30 seats or something around that. So I went for the smaller room because it's our first time doing this. And we're like, what if no one comes? Like, not even my mother's coming to this convention. So if you are there, we would love it if you would turn up
Yeah.
and come and join in. And part of it, we're planning on doing a live Q&A, the audience to answer any questions you have about TTRPGs, about publishing, anything to do with that. So if you have any questions about that, saying standing room only, I would love it if more than 30 people turn up. That would be amazing. But
Yeah,
I don't know how many people are going to come along.
Us two, and Peter will be there also.
Yes.
Peter Coffey, the other co-host of the podcast.
Yes. So we'll be there on Friday at 3:30 in the dice room. So we would absolutely love to see you there. We'd love to see someone there, anyone there. Will there be a live stream of this live recording? No, there will not be a live stream, but it will be
the technical know-how or capacity to do that.
Correct, but
it will be available to listen to afterwards.
Yes, it will be available as the podcast episode as usual as well.
Yeah.
But yes, and someone has said, oh, and also if you want to play Level Up Advanced 5th Edition, one of our volunteer GMs is running games, and there are some spaces left on Friday, and I think Saturday's fully booked, but I think there was one left on Sunday. So if you haven't tried Level Up Advanced 5th Edition and you want to have a game and try it out, you can sign up to events from there. And I think other people might be running Level Up Advanced 5th Edition games if you check through the role-playing game section, but it's one of our official volunteers, Dave, who'll be running games for you to play. Somebody has said, oh, it's a shame I cannot come to UK Games Expo because I am in the United States of America. Well, we are also, when I say we, not myself and Russ, but Level Up Advanced 5th Edition will be in the United States of America at Origins Game Fair. And this is Level Up's first time at Origins.
Or so any non-UK convention, in fact.
Yes, indeed. So we are trying out Origins. We're going to be on stand 710. We're going to be on there with like Free League and is it Modifius, I think. But yeah, a bunch of other people were on a stand there at Origins at the end of June. And yeah, so you can go and there'll be people there that can talk you through the books and the games and things there. And the collector's editions will be available there for you to pick up. So if you miss them on Kickstarter, there will be some collector's editions of the books. There's a very limited number in the US, though. I think there was like 4 or 5 we have left that are available to sell in the US. But yes, so we are planning to look over in the US. And if that goes well, we might be like, hey, let's go to more of these.
Yeah, that's not us personally. That's other people.
Yeah. So other people will be there. Level Up will be there as a presence, but myself and Russ will not be there because
but we'll be there in spirit. We'll be haunting the place.
Yes, wherever there
when
are
you feel
Level
a
Up
creepy
books.
chill coming from the corner of the stand, that's us.
Yeah, that's us there. Anyway, so there's some events in June that we're really looking forward to, which will be great. And next, I'm going to talk about actual play campaigns. So, as some of you may know, with Level Up Advanced 5th Edition, we offer sponsorship to people that do actual play streams or podcasts, some sort of actual play showing that. And we offer sponsorship to you for doing that. So sponsorship is $400. And we also put you on the EN live calendar and can do some promotion for you there with that. And yeah, so we kind of have that available for you there. And if you're interested in having that, if you're running a Level Up Advanced 5th Edition actual play and would like sponsorship, if you head over to enworld.live/sponsorship, we're taking applications now for the streams that are happening July to September. And the application deadline is the end of this month on the 29th of May. So if you would like to apply for that, we select 3 every quarter. And so... yeah, we'd love to see your Level Up Advanced 5th Edition games. 400
American dollars.
You do.
As it is correctly pronounced, dollars.
That is correct. That is correct. That is how you do that. And then, of course, on EN World, so if you go to enworld.live, that is our kind of media thing where we promote the stuff we do. And this is the stuff we're doing at the moment. So every Monday I do Not D&D, where I interview a different indie tabletop RPG creator. Not Dungeons and Dragons, obviously. And we talk about their game and we just go into detail and do a live Q&A. Very much this sort of vibe, just a casual conversation. So if you're interested in learning about new systems, then come along and check that out. There's also a podcast of it, and there's about 40 episodes of previous games already on there. So you can listen to that wherever fine podcasts are heard. On Thursdays, we have the To Save a Kingdom actual play campaign happening. This evening one is cancelled, unfortunately, due to illness, but we'll be back next week. But if you check out enworld.live for all the streaming dates for that. Every Friday, I do This Week in Tabletop RPG, where I do a summary of the week's tabletop RPG news in 3 minutes. That is available as a podcast or wherever you're watching this at 5 p.m. BST. And lastly, as we've already mentioned, Morrus's Unofficial Tabletop RPG Talk podcast comes out every Saturday. And at the UK Games Expo, we'll be doing a live recording that we'd love to have you come along to.
Yeah.
Yes. So that is a lot of the stuff and things that we are doing. I'll go through some questions whilst just to wrap up to make sure that is there a formal way that people can publish their own A5e adventures in your setting? So
in our settings, not at present. I mean, you can publish A5e stuff using Open Gaming License, Creative Commons, and probably Orc once it arrives. We haven't really done anything with the settings yet, but in principle, I have no objection to that. It's just probably a question of setting up a thing like GM's Guild for our stuff. So it's a technical thing rather than a willing to do it thing.
All the information about third-party publishers is on a5esrd.com, and that will be the place we'll update any changes and information on that. So if you check that out, that's a really useful resource, even if you're not just publishing for level up stuff. That's just
I'd love to see people writing stuff in our settings. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to get on that and arrange that at some point, among the many other things that we're doing. Because we're not busy.
Okay, we're not busy at all.
Great. And this has someone compiled all the content in on LSR somewhere?
No.
Is that Worlds of LSR?
Well, yeah, but I think what Solganor there is saying, because there's a number of adventures in Insider which are set on LSR.
Oh, right.
Not compiled, but wow, maybe they should be. There
is actually. If you're in the EM World Discord, if you tag me, a fan made a spreadsheet with all the Insider articles and has categorized them, and I think that is a category. So there is an Excel spreadsheet that has all the information with it on, which I didn't make. A fan of Insider made it, but I can share that with you. So if you tag me in the Discord, I'm at Tabletop Jess. I'll share that with you.
It's giving me an idea now.
And it sounds like
an LSR compilation.
There we go. There you go. And then we have another question about the level up starter set. Is there any benefit other than pre-gens, maps, and adventures to if you own all the level up stuff?
So obviously it is designed for people new to level up rather than people who already have level up.
Yes.
The pre-gens, the pre-gens that you'll be familiar with already from the website, although they'll be laid out differently and more sort of like starter friendly. The maps and the adventures, obviously they're new, and the tokens as well, they're new. What I would say is if you do run level up, I think that 32-page rulebook will be super useful as a reference for new players. So when someone comes to your table and they want to play in your game and you're saying, right, we're playing level up, and they're like, what's the difference between that and 5e? You go, have a look at this 32-page rulebook. And I think that will be super useful for that.
Yeah, so it can be a useful tool for on your table, but it is mostly designed to welcome new people into the fold, as it were. Yeah. And I think that is the end of the questions that I can see.
Yeah.
And I think that's all the information we had to share this fine month. Is that fair?
I guess.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming along and hanging out this hour. Someone went past a motorbike by my house. Don't know if you heard that. They're coming to tell me to leave. Thank you so much for coming along and all your support of EM Publishing. We do really appreciate it. And we hope to see you at the UK Games Expo, or we hope that you'll pop over to stand at Origin.
If you do come to the stand at the UK Games Expo, make sure to say that I am the best one on the podcast. Because I am the best one on the podcast.
On that note, I'm just going to go. Thank you very much, everybody. And we'll do another monthly live stream next month in June. And if you want to check any dates for any live streams or stuff going on, if you go to enworld.live, you'll see our full content calendar there. But for now, I shall say goodbye. Thank you very much.
Auf Wiedersehen.